يليق بجلاله سبحانه وتعالى. اللهم ولك الحمد حمدا كثيرا مباركا فيه، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام، وعلى آله وأصحابه الكرام ومن تبعه بالإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, we ask Allah for His forgiveness, we ask for His bounty, we seek His guidance. We ask Allah to forgive our shortcomings and send the blessings of Allah, the Prophet Muhammad, and to those who have passed before us, and until the day of resurrection. Inshallah, we are thankful. We are thankful that we are here. It is a wonderful occasion on the day of the assembly, the day of Jumu'ah. So I'm back home. In the last night, Imam Jad, he called me. They told me to come by, so here I am. So yeah, I was going to stay home, take a chill. Being in the military, sometimes you work harder. When they give you time, so you need to just chill out. But I'm here so relaxing the world. So I enjoyed coming home and being out with my brother and sister. So here I am. So we live in the times when most of us we like to listen to other people from outside United States. We also live at the age, at the time of the internet, where if you ask Chef Google, they give you a lot of information, some of it, but Google doesn't tell you if it's correct or not. They just give you what you're asking for. So those kind of stuff. So we have, again, the avalanche of information, and especially some of us, we don't take information from our own people, we take it from other people. We think maybe they might know better than we do, which is not the case. And especially more so the people who are indigenous being here, so they know their country better than us. We are the people who are, again, foreigners born from outside the United States, came to the United States, and then we should learn from people who are indigenous. And this is founded in Islamic history. When the Prophet Muhammad migrated to Medina, he learned from the people, from the Medinites, people from Medina. And those the Muhajirun, the immigrants, learn from them. And the same thing we should learn from what was taking place. To fast forward it, I'm going to be talking about the issue of what participating in civic engagement and the misunderstanding that most of us have. Most of them talking about the people who were born outside the United States, and some people who are here as well, who were born here. So as I preface in my talk, we learn to get information from people from outside the United States who have never been in the United States. They have no understanding and they have no clue. And they have no background in how things are taking place in the United States. They're just talking a lot of stuff. That's we Muslims should not be participating in many activities when it does involve Muslim or the other being involved with the non-Muslim in many civic engagement. We should not be participating in politics. We should be voting. We should not be doing any interfaith and other stuff. So those kind of a bunch of nonsense that they put out there, and they give us some of the evidence that is not an evidence. Again, from Islamic standpoint, we Muslims, we learn from the history, and more so from the practical example. I'm using the term very, meticulous, very good. Again, we're talking about, in particular, practical example of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and we don't just go by some kind of, concoction, talk or interpretation doesn't which is unfit, for the current situation or our condition here in the West and mostly in the United States. And civic engagement. Let me put my phone here so I can watch the time so I don't want to talk so long. And civic engagement is something the Quran have talked about it in many verses and with many plethora. That's many examples from the life of the Prophet Muhammad as we try to be succinct. I mean, again, very short and terse, direct to the point, so we don't want to use a lot of the jargon and things of that nature. But in the Quran, when we read in the verse 36 of chapter 3, chapter 4, Surah Al-Nisa, the women. And even so, another verse we can use in chapter 2, Surah Al-Baqarah, the cow, verse 176 or 77. If you're reading Wash, you're going to be 76. If you're reading Hafs, it's going to be 77. So, but the one I'm going to use is the chapter 4, verse 36. But al-ista'adha wal-basmala. Al-ista'adha means to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and basmala to say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. To say, Wa'budu Allaha wa la tushriku bihi shay'a. Even the verse put fast in the beginning, which you should serve Allah. وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا, and we should not associate any partner with Allah, the Almighty God. And then Allah went further to say, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, we must be dutiful and bountiful to our parents. وَبِذِي الْقُرْبِ وَالْيَتَامِ وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَبِنِ السَّبِيلِ. And they say, and we should be also what? Helping those who are related to us by blood, through marriages, through association, mutual understanding, whether memorandum of understanding or alliances we build. That's the verses included. And again, the orphans as well. Wabin is sabil, and wal masakin. That's the verse of one masakin. And those who need help. But the people who need help, they don't just come to you. Sometimes you go to them. And you see that the masjid that Islam is engaged in distributing food. And that's part of where the verse is talking about it. We distribute the food to the community, to the needy people, which doesn't look at your skin color, but based on your status. I mean, that's mean your incomes. If you qualify, then you should be able to be helped. Wama malakat wabin then the verse said get wal masakin wal jari bil qurbi wal jari dunum. It said, and your neighbors who is related to you by blood, by marriage and so forth, wal jari dunum, and the neighbors who's not related to you, whether by religion, whether by faith, blood, marriages. So that means somebody you don't have the same beliefs. I mean, we have to deal with those people. And the list goes on. Wabni Sabir, that means a traveler, somebody need help, a stranger. Wama malakat aymanukum, and what your right hand possess. That's a different subject for something else. So it's another time. So inna Allah la yuhibbu man kana mukhtalan fakhura, and Allah doesn't love those who are what? Arrogant and vainglorious. Many of the talk I just talking about, the people who tell us we should not engage in the social interaction with the people who are not related to us by blood, by religion, because we have a different God, different things, to whom they believe, to us our belief. But we have a lot of things in common. We breathe the same air. We go to the same store. We go to the same, but people go to McDonald's, I don't know. And so unless I have to, so people who go to the same Walmart, same gyms, same Sam's Clubs, and the list of all them. We drive, and I just drove coming from Oceanside on the freeway. I had a lot of people I was seeing, I don't know if they're Muslim or not. I didn't even say no women with hijab. So in order to know if they were Muslim or not, if that's the case, if that's your definition of identification of being a Muslim, you're gonna have hijab. So yes, I'm giving the list going on. So but those are human. So we are sharing a lot of things in common. I'm saying this to say that so we won't have some type of pre-qualification, and try to discourage people from being more engaged in the communities. We're talking about the practical example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad was a young man at around the age of 20, 21, as Ibn Ishaq talking about on his biography of the Prophet Muhammad and the other scholars. Prophet Muhammad was, let me go to it, when the Muslim migrated to Medina, and they were talking about the good things that's happened in Medina and so forth, and the word of the Hilf al-Fudur came up. That means the alliance of what? Of the people of virtue. The alliance of the people who wants to do good, uphold to the goodness. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu they were sitting down in the company of, he was sitting down in the company of what? Of his entourage, of his Sahaba, a companion. May Allah be pleased with them. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu stood up and said, yes. He talked about the Hilf al-Fudur, the alliance of people of virtue. I said, I was there. And he quoted the hadith that's been narrated by Imam al-Tabarani, and it's the sound. He said, لَقَدْ شَاهِدْتُ فِي بَيْتِ عَبْدِ اللَّهِ ibn Jud'ana. He said, I have witnesses. Remember, in the science of hadith, including when you conduct an investigation, when he said we have an eyewitnesses. Again, hearing and seeing is not the same thing. I heard something, but I saw him. When somebody say, I saw him, or I heard somebody just talking, but I saw him doing this. So whoever saw somebody doing something, that's a strong evidence. Prophet Muhammad tells us, لَقَدْ شَاهِدْتُ فِي بَيْتِ Abdullah ibn Jud'an. Again, I participated in the house of Abdullah ibn Jud'an. Who is Abdullah ibn Jud'an? Abdullah ibn Jud'an was one of the chieftain of the Quraysh people. He had one of the biggest houses. It's not like the house would be mentioned. No, I'm talking about we had one of the biggest houses in Makkah back then, with the big halls. People came to his house, and he was one of the wealthiest people too. He said, "Laqad shahidtu fi bayti Abdullah ibn Jud'an." Remember, this Hilf al-Fudur took place in the 590 CE. CE stands for Christian era. Remember, you're Muslim, don't use AD. AD stands after death. Muslim, we don't believe in the death of Christ. So if you're going to write a paper to the student, other staff, let the Christian use the AD, that's fine, but they believe the death of Christ, so we don't. So you get to use CE. Stand for two things, common era or Christian era. That's fine, you can use it. Because Islamic calendar came after that. So this took place in 590s. And he talked about that. لَقَدْ شَهِدْتُ فِي بَيْتِ Abdullah ibn Jud'an. I witnessed it. I participated. He was there physically. Again, he said Hilfan in alliances. مَا أُحِبُّ أَنَّ لِيَ بِهِ هُمْ. ما أحب أن لي به حمر النعم. Say, I would even prefer to have a red camel. I would not trade in for these alliances, for my share, my seat. Because the red camel, remember, is equivalent to stallion. Everybody know about the horses. You know, when people stallion is very expensive, one of the most expensive horses. He said, I will not ever give up my seat. He said, Wala uda'a bihi. This is the key point. Wala uda'a bihi. If I'm called in today for Islam, while I'm a Muslim, la ajabtu, I will respond the same thing. Listen to me, the key point. I'm driving home. He telling me this happened 590 CE, Christian era. Prophet Muhammad wasn't even a prophet. The key point, he wasn't a prophet, he was a young man, 20, 21 years old. I have a kid, my daughter's she's gonna be 22 in December. Mustafa's is 17 to be 18 in December. And I have 25 and 36 or 37, my Lila. So I'm an OG. I mean not OG, but I'm getting 59 years old. Yeah. So you see what I'm talking about. So basically Prophet Muhammad Salama was the age of my children. 21 years old. He was a young man. He was even a prophet. But he participated because he was concerned about the condition of his people living back then. He wants to be what? He wants to make history. He said yes. When they were talking about the Medina, he stood up, bold, strong. He said, yes, I was there. I remember. I would have been trading my seat. If I'm calling today again, in Islam, while I'm a Muslim, while I'm a prophet, I will do the same thing. Those people, remember, his uncle, which is the Zubair ibn Abdul Talib, was there, and also Al-Mut'im ibn Ali also was there. Now, who's the head of the Mut'im ibn Ali? Mut'im ibn Ali was a man when Prophet Muhammad was having a problem in Makkah. As a prophet, he got they kick him out. You know the level when somebody kick you out. That means you got nowhere to go. Prophet Muhammad went to Taif. He was stoned. You remember the story? He was bled. He was bleeding, and he wants to come back home. But the home again, they said he couldn't come in. He sent his people to go to talk to Mut'im ibn Ali. Mut'im was a non-Muslim, a pagan. Prophet Muhammad was seeking help from a pagan to protect him, to give him a refuge. This is recorded in history. This is why he's a Muslim. But because he knew about Mut'im ibn Ali, who he was as a person. He was a nice person. He had a moral conduct. He was a gracious and kind person. So, and Prophet Muhammad and Mut'im ibn Ali accepted to protect him. He had 6 children. When Prophet Muhammad came in the night and they took him to Kaaba, Mut'im took his sword and his shield and all his children. They said to Prophet Muhammad making tawaf. This is recorded in history. And people looking around, what's going on? What's going on? And they're looking around, that's Mut'im ibn Ali. He was one of the chieftain also. They asked him, Mut'im, why you armed? We got nothing against you. They say yes or no, but we protect Muhammad. That's what I'm. Are you protecting because you join his religion? I said, no, I'm not protecting because that's part of, if somebody seek help for me, in terms of protection, I have to, to render the services. And that's what we protect. So Mut'im ibn Ali protected Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while as a Muslim who was seeking help from non-Muslims. Remember, and this is the same thing, the fatwa the scholar of Saudi gave. Remember when we went to help the Kuwait after Saddam Muslim destroyed another Muslim country? Because he said that's what used to be his country. They took over whatever politics might be. And the Saudi scholar gave a fatwa, yes, a Muslim can seek help from a non-Muslim, based on the story I'm telling you. So we have a precedent. But Prophet Muhammad sallam, so this is the story for Mut'im ibn Ali. And so we can know who he is. He participated in the alliances of people virtuous. So, and his uncle participated and many other people participated. But the key that I'm trying to bring home is that Prophet Muhammad SAW tells us, yes, that's it. He was as concerned as those people who were there back then. You know, how this Hilf al-Fudul came up to be. The story goes that it was a man, back then it was if you're a shot caller. You know, if you're a shot caller, that means, so, you know, many people will do it, whether you're in the gang, whether you're a thug, you're a thief, pimp, whatever you call it. And, you know, so if you take the money from the women that work for you, then you know what I mean by. So the story, you know the story, you're my people, you understand the language, and that's why I'm home, I can talk like this. Because you understand well. Because when I'm talking to in another community, I use a different language. When I'm home, I'm just flying like an eagle. You know, so you can see what what I'm trying to to describe. But Prophet Muhammad SAW understood the condition of his people better than anybody else back then, and he wants to be a member of that community, participate in the change that will take place. So Muslims, he wants better for his community. We talk about back then it was if you have money, you shall call up people, you just take stuff. If you're poor, you have nothing. They can slap you or kick you out. Nobody will come, claim your revenge or protect you, ask you for, you will have no lawyer, no protection because you got nobody. So there was a man from the Zubaydi tribe. Zubaydi, one of the low class of Yemen. Back then, his status was the key. If you know from the who's who, you know that the elite class, you're on your own. So this man came to people used to come to Makkah, remember the big shrine to do the sex combination of Kaaba. And they also, because Makkah was a bazaar. Bazaar doesn't mean big marketplace. People sell their stuff. So he came in to sell his stuff. One of the men by the name of Wa'il ibn al-Asi. Wa'il ibn al-Asi is the father of Abu ibn al-Asi. Abu ibn al-Asi, he's the one who conquered Egypt during the Umar ibn Khattab time. But remember, his father was not a Muslim. So this man, when the man came to sell the stuff, hey, I can take your stuff and give the money. Come back, maybe go do your tawaf, do your stuff, then come back. The man came back 2 days. Oh, I don't have the money now. Come back later. The man came, come back later. Come back later. He spin him around. Remember, if you chase your own tail, you will never see it. Because you keep going around. The man got tired, and then he went to back then they didn't have a social media like today. The only time they have to resort back then was to talk about in the form of song or poetry. And the man went to the mount called Abu Bais. He stood up there in his loudest voices. He said, Ya ala fihrin limadlumin bida'atuhu bibatni makkata na'i dari wal nafari. He said, muhrimin wa ash'athin lam yaqdi umratahu ya la rijali wa bayna al-hijri wal hajri. He goes there, he says, Ya Ahl Fihr, or people of Fihr, one of the nickname of the Quraysh. I said, I'm the one who have been taking my merchandise. I said, Na'idahi, I'm far away from my house, but Nafari, I don't have no people. Remember, he's a low class. He's come from Yemen. Nobody can protect me. I said, Muhrimin, I'm still wearing my ihram. You remember the white thing they used to do today? Back then, but they even were walking out naked. You know the story. So again, he said, I keep do my, look at his hair was uncommon. I got no hair, so but that's here, hair was not kept clean, combed because too much going on. And he said, I'm here where the people can protect me. I'm in the sanctity of Abraham and the black stone. Everybody respect the black stone back then. He said, where are you guys? Not to help him out. So that's what the hateful fudul came up to be from that thing. As a result of that, the hateful fudul was what they came up to do for the second time, and they did it, and they were able to retrieve his belonging. Because Prophet Muhammad Sallam was proud when he had participated, because he did something positive. That's a Muslim, and everybody else can benefit. Let's ask him for Allah for forgiveness. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Muhammad Rasulullah. We thank Allah as we go into our second phase, and to close it up, we're talking about civic engagement. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in one of in his hadith, he said that he said al-mu'min yu'laf, al-mu'minu ya'lafu wa yu'laf. He said that a Muslim's a believer is kind and gracious. Wala khayra fi man la ya'lafu wala yu'laf. It says there's no goodness in someone who is neither kind nor gracious. He said wa khayrun nasi anfa'uhum lin-nas. It says the best of people are those who are the most beneficial. He used the word in Arabic language, it says superlative, anfa, better than. He said anfa lin-nas. He said anfa nas. He said the best of what the people are those who are most beneficial to mankind. He didn't say to mu'minin, to the believers. Listen to me, this is an idea. He didn't say to the believer, to the mankind, that to everybody. If you're not being useful to your community, because you all can do hang out with the Muslims, most of us are the Muslims don't own a lot of business. So we work for somebody else, and you're gonna have a friend, your co-worker. So you tell them you're not gonna be kind to them, you're not gonna talk to them. So this is the whole point I'm trying to set up. We have to bring Islam to the people, but it's in character. When Islam went to Malaysia or far South Asia, the Muslims didn't conquer the place with the sword, with the conduct, the way they went to do business, and the same that happened in Africa and many other times. And when many people became Muslims, and during the Nation of Islam and the first resurrection, we call it, they were not going to kill the people. I mean, the way they were dressed, they were well disciplined, well behaved, and then the only thing the theological belief was whacked up or jacked up. And then then Imam Wafd Muhammad and other people have to transition to the Al-Islam, what we have today. May Allah bless those people. Give them paradise. So he seems to us is our conduct, our dealing with the things. See, I tell people, this is our country. Yeah, I've been here but 29 now. So my kids were born here. So I mean, if I go back home, I have time living there. So my kids were born here, except Delilah, who came when she was maybe 12 years old, and she's way more American than I am. But she has no accent, nothing else. So you see it just like her, in her siblings. So, but at least it goes on. I'm trying to say that, I've been here, I understand the thing. So, but whenever we need to participate in whatever is taking place in the community, any good things. Now I'm not talking about participating in evil stuff. If people stealing, you should steal. No, I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about participating in any good that we can benefit from it. Whenever we have to vote. I remember back then, I forget when the Proposition 8 was been passed, they talk about legalizing the same-sex marriage. I vote for against it, and then back then it passed it in California. Many Muslims vote for it. People say, "Oh, you should be voting in the government of Kufar." Whoa. Take a chill, man. What are you talking about? I mean, we live in America. Look, if we're using the African proverb, when it rains in the villages, water does not just drop on top of one roof. Because the whole villages. So everybody's going to get wet. Remember I told you earlier, we breathe the same air. We eat from the same clothes, same clothes. And, if somebody work at the post office, your male or the male woman might never be able to get Muslim. You get service from them, and the list goes on. You go to the hospital, you need help, or you're a Muslim, you're a nurse, medical doctor. What are you going to do? You're going to treat everybody equal. So Muslim who must be participating in equal force than anybody else for all good of mankind. The hadith I just mentioned, Prophet Muhammad said that again, وَخَيْرُ النَّاسِ, the best of people are those unfoundly nas who are most beneficial to mankind. We're human, so we have to be here and participating in equal forces. So I just want to make sure that we all understand it. So let's be there in vanguard in doing good, because we are to be again. If you're going to call yourself a foot soldier, to do good, and then we have a work to do. So all other stuff, we should not begin somebody who lives somewhere. I'm using Saudi Arabia or Timbuktu or somewhere else, or telling us, oh, you can participate in the voting system. You couldn't look. Even a stop sign said that you can drive in the speed of 55 miles. The law affects everybody, whether you're Muslim or not. So I mean, I don't know what they be thinking. I mean, if they don't, then people they even have the nerve to tell us that you should move to the Muslim country. If you go to ask the people in Sudan, you ask the people in the Congo where I'm from, you ask the people even in Morocco, Mauritania, if they want to move to the United States, they say, when do you want to go? So yes, no, I understand the United States is not perfect, but I've been around, I travel around many African countries. I know how the condition over there. We still have a lot of things going on in the United States, and it's not perfect. So what I'm just saying, so let's work to be a member of the productive society. Let's be a participant of Prophet Muhammad love his community. He participated and he encouraged Muslims to do so. So that's the same thing we want us to do. So let's be there as a member of the society. So we should not just go around when something happened, the people ask, okay, they ask, where have you guys been? We don't want to go after the aftermath. We want to be there. And we know everything that's taking place in the community, we are members of the community. And again, something wrong happened, we're there, a good thing. So we should not only be known for something going after a stupid thing happened, or the Muslim have been blamed, or called it terrorism, whatever the case might be. But again, like I said, especially the younger generation. So we encourage you to be more, you have a lot of vibe, a lot of, you're more the technological side than we are, and participating in the goodness of this country. So again, may Allah forgive our shortcomings. May Allah bless us. May Allah give us a good in this life, good in the hereafter, and protect us from the torment of hellfire.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. استووا واعتدلوا sit your line, make sure that you close enough. You want to change, take the young man, put him over? Yeah. Let him go there. Yes, more space. And you guys can push a little bit too, so I'm going to go over. All right. Stretch your line, please. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin.